Hello, my name is Leroy Farf, and I'd like to talk to you about greed. While many Americans spend their time bickering over this or that hot-button political issue, we're all being raped by the top 10% of the population. Did you know that the top 10% of the population controls 93% of the total financial wealth in the nation? Or that the bottom 90% of the population is saddled with 75% of the debt? It's true, and it's only getting worse. Recent statistics show that the distribution of wealth in the US is reaching its most unbalanced point since the years just before the Great Depression. Almost 16% of Americans already live below the poverty level, and that number is growing every day. How can this be in the richest nation in the world? In a word, greed. How much money is enough? As of 2008, there were 469 billionaires in the United States worth $1.4 trillion alone. Many cultures realize that people do not become billionaires without being sociopathic pricks. They have safeguards in place to attempt to limit the ability of an individual to become obscenely wealthy. But in America, everyone thinks that someday they will be the wealthy one, no matter how high the odds are stacked against them. The truth is that while there are self-made billionaires, the great majority of the vastly wealthy inherit their wealth or come from families wealthy enough to finance their initial endeavors. Which means that I can tell you, yes you, that you or any person you know, will never become a billionaire with almost cosmic amounts of certainty. Why then is it that seemingly the entirety of American culture is built around the worship of these people? Have they really done anything that is so great that we couldn't live without it? No, most of them were born into their dynastic wealth long after their family had ceased to contribute anything more important to the world than the purchase of luxury items. Why then are they so important to so many people? Probably for the same reason the lottery is popular. People are inherently and incurably stupid and greedy. There should be riots in the streets demanding that everyone have the chance to share in the wealth that they've helped to create. But instead the people that do the work see little of the profit and are just happy to be allowed to survive, while those that exploit just continue to exploit and buy a bigger yacht than the other guy. Why? Because the average person is so scared to death that their neighbor may end up with something they don't have. Greed. Greed is what allows those 470 people to control everything that happens in this country. Through the use of their vast wealth they can influence legislation, purchase authority, even hold entire nations hostage. And through it all, they know that the American people will still worship them. No matter how they exploit them, the poor masses will still harbor the delusion that they too will someday become billionaires and love them unconditionally. What else can possibly explain our distasteful logic? Let me spell it out. So here we are, on the precipice of depression, with wars ongoing against loosely defined ideals that can never be won, with millions jobless and desperate, with healthcare costs spiraling out of control. What good are the billionaires? Their defining feature, their wealth, does nothing but hurt everyone else. Unless of course you're one of the people building their yacht. You know, we could take some of that wealth back from them. Call it eminent domain. Call it unpaid wages. But the people wouldn't stand for it. The American people are too busy taking back our country from people that would help them, and giving even more of it to the billionaires. All on an empty promise and a pat on the head. All for greed. They are, after all, incurable.